The surprise album GNX by Kendrick Lamar was great, but there's definitely a couple songs with some meanings that people overlook, which I will be going into today. If you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to follow my Twitch, my Insta, my TikTok. All links will be in the description. And let's get straight into it. GNX starts off with Whacked Out Murals, which kind of sets the whole vibe for this album, which Kendrick is going for everybody's neck. On this song, he disses Wayne, Snoop, and doesn't even mention Drake, but he references him when he says people cackling at, and then it goes silent, which is one of the biggest disses of this album, but I'll get into that later. But the next song, Scrabble Up, is which he comes out with the iconic snippet that was in the beginning of the Not Like Us video. He talks about how God knows that he's reincarnated, which he goes on into a later song on this album. But on the next song, Luther, where SZA does what she does best with her angelic vocals, he talks about wanting to take, I'm assuming, Kendrick's wife, pain away and making her dreams come true, which is why the song is called Luther, because, MLK, I have a dream speech. Y'all get the picture. The next song, Man at the Garden, basically Kendrick is talking about all the blessings he has and how hard he's worked for it, and how he deserves it all. Seems, as the name implies, that he's in a Garden of Eden in a way, since he references having everything heaven allowed him to. The next song, Hey Now, features Dodie Six, which is a West Coast artist, and he does his thing on the song, and Kendrick also makes somewhat reference to Drake by saying he, strangled a goat. The next song, which is my personal favorite song off the album, is Reincarnated, which is, he referenced it off Scrabble Up, and he raps over a Tupac sample, which is one of the reincarnations Kendrick claims to be. I think he said it on a couple past songs. But the first reincarnation he talks about is a talented guitar player, which people resembles John Lee Hooker. I've seen some people say Jimi Hendrix. I don't know. It's not really specified on the song. But he's a very talented artist that struggled with substance abuse. And after him, he talks about being a talented woman singer, which people are pretty confident with it being Billie Holiday, who was also a talented artist who dealt with drug abuse. And the last reincarnation is Kendrick himself, where he has a conversation with God and battles himself about what he did for the world and if his mission was finally complete. So when he dies, will he go to heaven? This song flows and beats and story and lyrics was just beautiful. And honestly, it's been one of my favorite Kendrick songs I've honestly ever heard. And this is definitely my favorite song off GNX person. But the next song, TV Off, basically where he says nobody is safe and he finna go on everybody's ass. And for some reason he screams his favorite condiment in the middle of the song. I don't know why though. The next song, Dodger Blue, talks about, how much Kendrick loves his hometown, given the name Dodgers Blue, because the Dodgers is an LA baseball team if you're oblivious to sports. And it's also the same hat he's wearing on the cover for the album, I'm pretty sure. The next song, Peekaboo, just talks about these niggas being on nothing. Next song does talk about being on something. Hard Part 6 discusses the come up of Kendrick and the rest of TDE, like Black Hippie members Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, and J-Rock. He talks about the motivation you need for this and the heart that you need given for the name, heart, and not the heart, because another rapper already took the Hard Part 6, which I will get into later. But the next song, GNX, is basically just a West Coast cypher where there's a whole bunch of upcoming West Coast artists on the song. And the next song, which I found the most interesting when I found the meaning, was Gloria. Now, at first glance, you might think he's talking about his girl, like in the song earlier, Luther. But this song can serve as that purpose. But once you look deeper into the song, it can also be about his pen. Because at the end of the song, he writes, "Ain't no bitch like my bitch, cause my bitch been my pen." And multiple times earlier in the song, he makes multiple lyrics that reply to this relationship with his pen. And he also said his favorite movie was The Notebook. And he said, "Remember when you caught that body and wiggled through the sentence?" You know what I'm saying? That was just crazy because I didn't even catch that. I didn't even catch any of this at first. But the meaning of the song is basically like a whole double entendre, which is funny because on the first song, he talks about on the album how he doesn't want none of that. He wants us to show, he really feels the song. But this wraps up the whole album beautifully. And another crazy thing is that Gloria is actually a pen. Like, it's actually like a really expensive pen that Kendrick has used before, which is just crazy, like just a crazy detail. And it makes a lot more sense for it to be about the pen than his girl. But, if you're not really looking at it that way. Because at first glance, I thought, again, it was his girl. But as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest disses on this album was towards Drake. Now, let me explain. Drake was so pressed to do a round two, and as he states on Nose Face, but Kendrick goes on the Super Bowl and says, no round twos.
You know there's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos. Let's get it.
Now, you would think that Kendrick would mention Drake on this album, but no. He's nowhere mentioned on this album. And this is like the biggest fuck you to Drake ever. Because even though that Drake made a song called The Heart Part 6, Kendrick went back and removed the out the sentence. And then he didn't say nothing about Drake on the song. And it was completely not even nothing about no sneak disses on Heart Part 6. It's literally just about him coming up, which is just absolutely disrespectful to Drake. But anyways, this whole album was just beautifully put together, though I would look more towards as like an EP or a mixtape. I think this does have some quality, songs on it, but it just shows that Kendrick feels...
It used to be fuck that nigga, but now it's plural. Fuck everybody that's on my body. My blick first, then God got me. I watch them pander with them backhanded compliments. Put their head on the Cuban link.